Hey, did you go live yet?
It's loading. I'm about 50% in.
Well, if I go blank, I'm taking something back.
Oh, we are live.
I'll wait
Loading.
until.
I'm about 50%
I think I got it to
in.
work.
Okay, we are live, ladies. Kaylin, we can see you now. I'm going to go ahead and remove your other
Okay.
login here. Bang. Done. All right. Hi, everyone, and welcome back to Lunch with MSCA. Whether you are in your car, on your planning period, or grabbing a sandwich at your desk, we are so glad that you're here with your favorite small town underdog. In this session today, we bring you the energy, the stories, and the community behind Mountain State Cheer Academy. Today's theme is all about friendships because honestly, friendships are the glue that keep everything that we do here at Mountain State fun, meaningful, and also unforgettable. For those of you who do not know me, I am Coach TT, and today I am joined by Coach Candy and a very special guest who I will be introducing to you in just a few moments. But first, Coach Candy, can you go ahead and tell me why you think that friendships have become one of our core values here at MSCA?
Well, one of our core values about friendship is very, 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 very important. It grows the importance of strong. Hold on, I am so sorry. Hold on, let me back up. It builds trust. It helps communicate better. They learn to work together. They perform to succeed. Friendships also make practices and games more enjoyable if you're in a youth aspect. Um, in a different moment, friends, they all around become that friend aspect of they get to spend their most time together. And when Kaisley, she when we first started, she was young and she had friends, but she didn't really have like close friends. And um she basically had sisters and they learned to grow and they become friends, but they also have that sister bond and they become this sisterhood, friendshiphood, and they learn to communicate and they build confidence. They learn unity. In friendship, they learn how to socialize because they learn like conflict resolution. I mean, because, we have to learn to agree to disagree. And sometimes you win and you lose. And it's great to learn those life lessons. And it's through friendship that you learn that. And I think that that's one thing that Paisley and I think a lot of our girls to have learned growing in our program.
I think so too. And I think also without the friendship that we developed between you and I and Coach Ariana through youth cheer, I'm not sure if we didn't have that foundation of friendship that Mountain State Cheer Academy would even
Yeah,
exist. So it was like Mountain State Cheer Academy, I feel like bloomed from our friendship. There's no way I would have gone out and done all of this had it not been for the friendship that you and I and Coach Ariana have built together. So it really was one of one of the main reasons that we went into this venture together. So
right.
it
And
started from our friendship.
I know. And plus, I remember when we first started in my living room and we were like, okay, how are we going to do our hello cheer? And we just started in our living room and we got the girls
We
and we
did.
started doing our hello cheer with just us three. And we got in there and we were doing it ourselves and just getting it right in there. And we were just setting that example. So we were leading by example.
That's
So,
right.
so and we were just making fun of each other. So,
Oh
and
yeah,
that's
we have a good time.
you do. That's what you do. You make fun of each other, and
But I
then
also will recall that that meeting at your house was the first time we had all three ever been together. It felt a little bit nerve-wracking. I had no idea what personalities, like I knew Ariana, I knew you. Ariana and I had had a history of not even really getting along before, like, oh yeah, we worked together at B-Dubs. I'm just gonna be honest about it. She'll tell you too. Like we had a little rough patch at one point. So it all has not been flowers and rainbows, and I was nervous. Like, how are we all three going to get along? And then we just clicked and it worked beautifully. So here at
I
Mount
think
St.
we had a come to Jesus meeting.
We did, probably. Okay, so today we are going to talk about why friendships matter. We're going to peel back the different layers of friendships, and those layers include, the athlete friendships from building bonds on the mats through stunts and tumbling and competitions, inside jokes, all of that good stuff. Talking about parent friendships. We have a lot of carpooling going on. We have late night hotel stays and drives. So, we are also going to be talking about staffing and how our staff have become better friends and things like that. So, today is going to be all about friendships. We're really excited. And before we get started, I want to share one of my favorite inside stories about a friendship of mine, beyond, mine and your friendships, but someone I've gotten really, really close with. We started as friends in my previous position at Mountain Cap Child Development Center when I was the director because I had her children at daycare. But then we ended up, she helped me start this business. She's helped me with music. She's helped me uh, with meetings that I've had with families and fundraising and all the good stuff. But it didn't start that way. But cheerleading has really brought us together. Is Jarissa, and she, one of my favorite memories with her this past season was, Coach Candy, when I get the score sheets, no matter what, I have something to say about it. You're always going to find me at the judges table because that score sheet's just not going to be reflective of what I thought our performance was. And so there was a point 0.2 deduction on my scorecard that I was not satisfied with, and I really felt the judges needed to review the footage. And typically the judges get back to you, what, 30 minutes? Like they send you the footage. It's within 30 minutes. You're going to hear back from the judges panel. Well, I think that this competition was really struggling with their judges panels. There were two different panels. One judges panel were judging things certain ways. The other one was judging things a little bit easier. We had the harder panel. And so I asked that they pull the footage. And long story short, it was 1 a.m., 1:30 in the morning. I am up on Jarissa's bed. Our kids are sleeping. My mom has Adelaide, and
Is
I
that was
think we
that
have a
our
bottle of
first one?
wine. That was at Rise. That was in Pittsburgh. That was one of the last ones.
Oh,
And we got dinged they didn't give us credit for our pocket to pocket arabesque. And I really had a big problem with that. And so, I had my own video footage that I sent in, and they had their own video footage. And it was 1:30 in the morning, and I still had not heard from a judge. And we just stayed
oh,
up all night reviewing footage, looking up
yeah.
videos. And so, it's the late nights and the long nights where you really build those memories. And so, yeah, we've had a lot of fun, and we're going to have even more. So, yeah, moving into today's conversation, we do have another guest here with us today, Kaylin Hall, who is she's a wife, she's a mother, she's a nurse, she is a community coach who has built a life around her family, service, and sports. She is a Webster County native. Kaylin grew up in a small town where athletic opportunities were limited, but that did not stop her. She cheered, she played softball, and competed in basketball. She actually got to marry her high school sweetheart, Kenny. They are still together, and together they have built a home, and where they're raising three children, beautiful children, Miss Bailey, Miss Callahan, and Mr. Sawyer. Kaylin earned her nursing degree from Fairmont State University, and she now serves her community as a registered nurse through WVU Home Health and as a case manager for All Care of West Virginia. Her passion for youth sports lives on through her coaching. She and her husband lead Lewis County Rec Softball and recently launched CWV Elite Bandits Softball League, starting a U10 team, starting a 10U team and dreams of growing into multiple age groups. Kaylin knows firsthand the power of sports to build friendships. From watching her daughter Bailey's grand slam at the World Series with a brand new softball team who cheered her child on just like she had been part of their family from the get-go, to seeing her daughter Callahan being welcomed with open arms here at MSCA, Kaylin truly believes that sports create friendships that really do last a lifetime. So please help me welcome Miss Kaylin Hall to our chat today.
Hi, guys.
Woo!
Hi, Candy. Hi, Taylor.
Hi.
Hi. Thank you for joining us today.
Y'all
So
think
we know, Candy, I just found out, played softball.
awesome. What position?
Yes.
What position?
And I was going to say, softball and cheerleading are kind of like apples to oranges, not a whole lot in common. But from a friendship perspective, I have a feeling that, Kaylin, you can connect some dots with us. What do you think? How do you compare friendships through softball and friendships through cheerleading? What's your experience been like?
We have had we've seen both sides of it. I have to say, we've seen the positive, we've seen the negative, but we have really seen more of the positive, and we have grown so many friendships that will last a lifetime. When Bailey started for Premier out of Parkersburg, we knew nobody, and she's shy, so she was a nervous wreck. We were a nervous wreck for her. They were amazing. They invited her with open arms. She made friends that she still talks to. They're actually going to be coming down to our Gilmer County tournament that we're doing in October. So we'll get to kind of reunite with them. They cheered for her in every game, especially the World Series, like their own kid. Like it was amazing. And then, of course, on this, like you said, on the cheer side of things, Callie has done amazing things in Mountain State and has made lifelong friends, both sides.
Yeah. And I know that you and Kenny are so busy running them here, there, and everywhere. Life as a parent can be super challenging, but have you personally made any friends through softball and cheerleading?
Oh, yes, for sure. Actually, there's been many friends that we made at Premier that we still speak with, and then starting this new Bandits with the Central West Virginia elite team. We've already made friends. I mean, we're going to be staying in a hotel at our first tournament, our second tournament this upcoming weekend. But I mean, it's just not only have like we've grown friendships, but they have helped me in a time that, you know, that we needed, like just as far as the World Series. I mean, we had no clue what we were going to do. We couldn't miss the World Series. Callie had choreography. I was a nervous wreck, like, oh my gosh, what do I do? I can't be in two places. I can't miss Bailey's World Series. But you stepped up, another team mom stepped up. You guys invited her with open arms to your home, and that's amazing. It's amazing.
Yeah, we had a good little sleepover, so that was fun. I didn't mind at all. I looked
Yeah,
forward to it. And so did the girls. They were so excited to have a sleepover, so that was
yeah,
super sweet.
yes,
Um, yeah, so I think that obviously friendships are one of the biggest benefits to being in a team sport, and when I did competitive gymnastics, it's kind of both. You do rank as a team, but it's more individual. And in an individual sport, I would say that but we still had friendships. You were still practicing, you were still competing alongside your peers, even if you were competing against them. So I don't think it's like necessarily team sport specific rather than just sports specific. Swimming's kind of the same way. Yeah, you have relays, you still score as a team, but you're individually swimming,
yeah,
but you're still getting all of that social interaction. Like Candy said, she talked about, conflict resolution. Obviously, it's not just all of the highs,
yes,
that you're
yeah,
experiencing all the time. You're not always winning together. Last night we had a really hard practice for our Wildflowers, our level 1 team, and a lot of girls left upset. And sometimes, I heard a couple of parents mention that uh, they heard girls cheering their friends up and lifting them up on the way out. But it's through those tougher times that I think that you really learn
yes,
how to deal with
yeah,
conflict and also manage your emotions differently, with your friends. So
yeah. When Bailey started with Premier, I mean, they had been established for 6 months prior to her starting. So she was like, they're not going to include me. They're not going to want me there. There were several drives to Parkersburg where she was like, I don't want to do it. I'm done. And we're firm believers that you start something, you're going to finish it. And
Right.
and we are so thankful that we stood by that, because she reached she my gosh, blew our expectations out of the water. And after she started making friends and becoming more comfortable with the families and the kids, oh, it was amazing. I mean, there were parents crying and lifting her up and
Aw.
her up her grand slam, and it was, and I mean, they've known us for 4 months. It was amazing.
Well, with the wildflowers, we have, 9 girls that cheered, last year. And, we have a couple new girls, but it's the new ones that, well, we welcome and we want them on our team. And, sometimes it's good to have them. They may feel uncomfortable, but for us to make them have that feeling of being welcome.
Yeah.
And sometimes, like, even like Carter, my older son, he doesn't like to be in an uncomfortable position, and or in a uncomfortable situation. But then, like, because he didn't want to play soccer, but then when I made him play soccer, he loved it
Yeah.
because I pushed him and made him do that. And if I didn't push him to do that, he would have never had that opportunity.
Yeah.
So I'm glad that I made him do that,
Yeah.
because ultimately I knew that he would enjoy it. But I had to get him out of his comfort zone first.
Yeah.
And I hated to do that because my mama heart was like, I really know that it's going to be very uncomfortable at first, but in reality, I know that once he gets in there, I know that he's truly going to love it.
Yeah.
Because our thing is I don't care what you do, but you have to do something. Because if Carter Palmel would stay home and play video games, that's exactly what he would do. So, but
Well, I'll ask both of you guys this question, but I'm going to start with Kaylin. So, when we look at a sport like a community or a team, and since we're talking about, both of you have had experience entering into a team that maybe your kids felt uncomfortable with, and maybe you as a parent, walking into something, especially when your kids get older and they've been with, they know that their teammates have been established and have been together for so long. Kaylin, in your situation, you said they'd been together, practicing for like 6 months.
Yeah.
So, how did you overcome that feeling of nervousness? How did you encourage your daughter Bailey to step out of her comfort zone and really push for making new friendships? Because I know a lot of the time, like, that is a barrier we see, or either the kids are really nervous to come in the gym, or even the parents are really nervous to start in a
Yeah.
new sport.
Yeah. With Bailey, I mean, like I said, some of the drives up there, we would talk about it the whole way. She would mention, there's friendships and this person's with this person and I don't know this one. And I'm afraid that I'm not always like, what if I'm not good enough? But then when they accepted her and they saw her videos and they did a tryout with her and they wanted her, I'm like, Bailey, this is what you want. Because before then, she was only coached by Kenny and I. And I'm like, I want you to be coached by somebody else, and Premier is the place to go. And she worked at it. She worked hard. They'd come home from practice. She'd want to keep practicing. Her days off, she'd want to keep practicing. She started making friends. She really gained a few very close friendships with the girls. That also helped her, to overcome some obstacles. But then, as far as the parents, I mean, on the other side of things, they could have been like, oh, Lord, who's this kid coming in halfway through the season? Are they going to take a position? What's going to happen here? And they weren't that way at all. They loved us. They loved Bailey. There was an instant connection. They wanted her to come back.
That's amazing.
with Carter, I just made him stick it out. Like, he had to stick with it. And once you start something, you finish it. And that it regardless of the situation. Growing up, I had some really hard coaches. I mean, even teachers. I had some really hard teachers that I did not agree with. You know, um, teachers, coaches. But I had to stick with it. And those, honestly, throughout my life, I feel like they have made me the person I am today. And I'm not tooting my own horn, but I mean, I'm not a bad person. Nobody's perfect, and we have to learn from that. And I feel like that Carter's going to have to learn. We all have to learn from our experiences through life. So that is something that Carter's going to have to learn. He's going to have to do it. He's going to have to stick through it. He may not like those uncomfortable situations, but he's going to have to learn from it and decide in the future and react in the future, you know.
Right.
And then, honestly, I think it helps him grow, and it helps an individual grow, because when they get older, they're going to have to figure out what they want to do in life. And it helps them make those decisions, because Carter, when he wakes up in the morning, he doesn't know what he wants to wear. He doesn't know and he's getting ready to be in middle school. And I'm like, Carter, have you ever thought about what you want to do when you grow up? And he's like, no. And I'm like, well, honey, those, it's in a couple of years, we're going to have to start thinking about that. And those are some choices that he's going to have to start making. And this is just a part of growing up. He's going to have to feel uncomfortable. And those are some choices that he's going to have to make. So he's just going to have to stick with it. And as a parent, you have to make that relationship with other parents to make that bond with the parents and their kids, and it just follows in suit. So
Well, I think also,
Sorry, guys, I lost power.
no, that's okay. I'm glad you got back
The
in service.
power just went off. I'm
Welcome
sorry.
back.
Thank
What
you.
happened to your power? Is there a storm
It
or
just flicked
something?
off and it went off and immediately back on. I'm like, what are
Mine
the
does mine does that too all the time. It's gotten
Yeah.
better a little bit recently, but it was bad there for a while. So, well, and Candy, I know that oftentimes like cheerleading gets a bad rep, and I think that's a barrier that you and I have worked to overcome. But cheerleading is associated with drama and with not really healthy friendships or uh I don't know, extra sassy girls. And, I mean, they get scored on their sass. So, yeah, we want the sass, but also we want some genuine friendships too. So, that's something that you and I have really worked to make sure that we um, establish like a firm expectation about how we treat our friends, how we treat our teammates. And, we've had things have not been perfect. We've seen some little things on our teams that we haven't necessarily liked, and we have different ways to redirect those emotions and overcome those emotions. But overall, I think that from a programmatic standpoint, like that's a standard and that's an expectation that you can establish among all teams, not just cheerleading, but all teams. As a coach, how do you set the standard of lifting each other up, encouraging, and making sure that we're building healthy friendships?
well, team bonding, I know that that's something that this year we've really stepped up. I think that that's really important. We did the jar last year, where the girls picked a teammate, where they gave the spirit jar. We do the spirit stick this year, and they would say something very positive about their teammate. And we do that with the honeybees, and I think they do try to lift each other up. They do cheer each other on.
Hmm.
And I know that the Wildflowers, they have watched the other teams and they've cheered the other teams on. And, so they do have that. I mean, I don't really
And I
see.
think it's our job to like lead them. So to expect
Yeah.
the kids to know to cheer each other on, like if they've
Yeah.
never done a sport, they're not going to cheer each other on. That's uncomfortable. That's not, it
Yeah.
doesn't necessarily come natural to everybody. So as a coach, like I'm not afraid to just put you on the spot. Like, girls, we should be cheering for them right now. Come on, let's pep them up. Let's go. Count out
Yeah.
loud. Count for your teammates. Let's go. Let's go. So I think that that's, again, one of those things that the coaches can really help with. Kaylin, do you guys do anything? I know I've seen like game balls being given out, but do you guys do anything like team
Yes.
bonding in
Yes.
softball?
Yes, we do a lot of team bonding, especially with our 10U team, because these girls, a lot of our 8U team that my little Callie plays on, they go to school together, so a lot of them know each other. But with our 10U, a lot of these girls are all over the state of West Virginia, Central West Virginia, and they don't know each other. They don't go to school together. So we have focused a lot on bonding with them. We've shared our favorite moments, our lowest moments, our most excited moments with softball. We try to do something team bonding. Fun stuff too. Like Kenny and I have tried to guess who's saying "Hey Coach." Try to memorize their
Oh
name.
yeah, that was a
We
cute video.
we don't know them either. So we have bonded though. I mean, they were rubbing each other's feet and carrying on at the last softball tournament. So but one of the biggest things that we focus on is we are each other's biggest supporters, and we want that on and off the field. We preach that to our 10U team. If we don't see you cheering each other on, if you want that spot and another girl has it, that doesn't matter. You're cheering that girl on. If that girl gets a good hit and you've struggled with batting that day, that doesn't matter. That's your teammate and you are their biggest supporter. And we strive on that a lot, and they're doing really great with it. They really are.
That's great.
It's funny that when you said the game ball, Callie got the game ball for her 8U, and we always break it down by saying like 1, 2, 3 Yetis, or let's go Yetis. And she started doing her cheer count 5, 6, 7, 8. It
That's
was
cute.
great.
I did. I saw that video of you guys do it. I saw her game ball post that you shared, and then I also
Yeah.
saw the video of you guys guessing the names. And I think I sent it to Candy or she sent it to me, and she was like, "We need to do this." So we might be trying that soon.
Oh, it's fun. It's fun. We enjoyed it as well as the kids.
I know. And the kids think that they're really, when we do videos and stuff with them, like when we were announcing, asking people to follow us on YouTube, I mean, they really think that they're YouTube superstars if they can be highlighted on our social media
Yeah.
platform. They really think that they are big stuff. It's super sweet. And I think they've really enjoyed watching us on YouTube and seeing their videos. And I know a lot of them are going to come in after school today and watch this. And I hope some of your softball girls will too. So,
Yeah.
um, well, and I think that also it's a good like parents can set that tone and that example for the athletes as well. You know, if like energy is contagious, right? Like
Yeah.
you can feel and you can sense someone's energy, and if everybody has a bad day, you're not going to be fired up all day long every single day. You know, there are days that I come in and I'm just down, and there's days that Coach Candy comes in and she's down, or same as parents, you know, and so you really feed off of one another, but you can also be the light for one another too. So when you do see a parent or an athlete, we also do a lot of check-ins with our athletes too, I will say. Like, you can just tell when someone's not
They're
in their
supposed.
best spirit, you
Yeah.
know, and checking in with them, what's going on, what's, you know, how can we help today, and maybe giving them a little more encouragement on those days can be helpful.
Sometimes you
But
just gotta block the haters out, like you gotta put the block the haters.
that's right, block the haters. Candy, let's make some light. Will one of you guys share your a funny story or something that will make me laugh a little bit?
Okay, so let's talk about traveling. Let's talk about a hotel. Taylor, will you please tell the story of trying to find Ariana's room, mine and Ariana's room? Will you please tell that story? Gosh, I love that story.
I don't know if I remember all the details,
Oh, you
but
know all the details once you start telling it.
okay, so Candy and Ariana typically share rooms for most competitions because they have big families. So
Because we're building friendships, right? Because
that too.
I'm a
But
really
also
good
the
friend.
hubs stay home with the other kids while we cheer, you know, and so sometimes they share rooms. And so they have a shared room, and I'm like, I'm missing out on all the fun. You know, I have a room to myself. No offense to my mom, yah. She can be kind of boring sometimes. I'm like, I want to go to the
Mm,
room. Just
don't
sometimes.
you knock on y'all.
I'm just saying that she goes
She's
to
a
bed
hot
early.
yah.
She goes to bed early, you know.
Not
Anyways,
this year.
that's right. She'll
She's
be
a
up.
queen honeybee.
Mhm.
She's
Okay,
a
so I'm
beekeeper.
like, I want to go to the fun room, right? So I text the girls and I'm like, hey, what room are you in? And they tell me 412. I'm like, okay, so I go to the elevator, four, all the way up, off the elevator, 412. Knock, knock, knock. Nothing. Typically, also, I will add that I already feel like a little funky because it's so quiet. And like when I go to Candy and Ariana's room, like it's not quiet. You know what I mean? You can hear it from around you can hear it. And so I'm like, wow, they're really quiet. They're trying to pull a trick on me. Like they're gonna jump out and scare me or something. And so I'm waiting, nothing. So then I'm like, do, 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 do. Nothing. I do it one more time, and this man comes to I can hear him like approaching the door, peeping through the hole, and he's like, ma'am, I think you have the wrong number. I was like, Candy? So I go
Oh my.
back to my text. I'm like, you guys are a bunch of jerks. What's your room number? It's not 412. 312. Okay. So I go down to 312. Well, the door's open. Like it's propped open. You know, like you can put the little thing in the door and it like the safety latch or whatever, and
Yeah.
it's just propped. I'm like, oh, okay, cool. So I'm like, bet I'm gonna get them this time. So I full blown, how? Open up. I bust in the room.
And it's
Thank,
not there.
thank the Lord, nobody was in there.
Oh my God.
Wrong room. Finally, I FaceTime him. I'm like, I don't know what kind of joke you guys are playing. This is Candy. Look at her. She
This-
can't even talk to me. She's crying. She's laughing. The girls are laughing so hard. Adelaide's with me. She's like, this is so embarrassing, you know? So finally, she's like, okay, it's 212. So I get down to 212. At this point, I'm like, are they ever going to give me the right number, you know? But I could hear them this time, so I knew it was their room. But I mean, I was busting in. I get in that room. They're both they're gonna pee their pants laughing so hard.
That's a good one. They got you good.
They got me good. I went to two different rooms, and I'm like, imagine if someone would have been in that unlatched room, and also imagine the guy. Oh, Candy, no, that's not even right. What did I say to the guy when I knocked on the? I said something.
You said, come on, you're playing some sick joke, right?
Yeah, I know you guys are in there. What kind of joke is this? I'm like talking smack to the door. And then finally, this guy with a really deep voice comes up to the door and he's like,
Oh my gosh.
Hello? And you went,
"What?"
hello?
Oh, that's exactly what. Yes, that's right. He said hello, and I'm at the peephole like this. That's right, Candy. You remind me. I'm like this at the peephole, and I'm like, he's like hello, and I'm like hello, and he's like, who's there? I'm like, who's there? And I'm thinking it's Candy making a man voice. And it wasn't until he said, ma'am, I think you have the wrong room. It connected. Like, you can't fake that accent. You can't
Oh,
fake that man voice. Yeah.
that's hilarious.
I was
That's
up in there too, like this. That's what he saw. He was like, who is that? I'm like, who is that? Who are you? Oh, Candy. And
Man,
then
I
to
wish
think we went
somebody.
to breakfast, and I know that man was somewhere in that breakfast room. It was like the walk of shame.
Yeah,
Mm-hmm.
that's funny. I
All right,
wish
Pamela,
somebody would have been.
tell me a funny story. What you got?
Oh gosh, I don't know if I have any funny ones. I'm trying to think of some good ones.
Oh, I know those girls are playing pranks on you in hotel rooms or.
We haven't got to stay in the hotel rooms with the bandits yet. Our
Oh,
plan
okay.
was this weekend, but I'm trying to think. I mean, Premier always played jokes on Jason. Oh Lord.
Well, we have to curfew our
Think about-
kids at cheer.
Yeah.
You haven't experienced it, but our girls, I mean, if they would just give us, why they don't just give you a whole floor?
Oh yeah.
Specifically, like the bottom floor would be great because,
Yeah.
noise, the stomping, you can always hear. But if they would just give us the whole bottom floor instead of like a room block that goes up and down in one certain part of the hotel, you know what I mean? I don't know why
Yeah.
they do that, but we need the whole floor because our girls are zooming, tumbling, choreographying all up
Yeah.
and down the hallways every single day. They're so loud. We have to tell them, like, girls, people are sleeping in here, you know?
Yeah.
We have to,
And
but
they like
also
to
you want to
ride
be
the
fun.
carts. They like to get in the carts and then they like to ride. And then they're like, Mom, push me.
And then they're
then
bumping into
The
walls and
cars going in the walls. And you're
flipping
like,
over on two wheels.
Or we would always, I don't know if you guys would always be in the pool. We always find ourselves in the pool, and my Callie would have Kenny doing all cheer stunts.
yes.
So then, of course, Premier softball, all the softball players were like, Kenny, put me in the air, put me in the air. So he was cheer dad in the pool. So those were some enjoyable moments. But
He's the
I,
ultimate cheer dad.
He is.
but
He's
I think the funniest moments is softball are the feral siblings. The feral siblings that run around. Bless their hearts. They're at the ball field, the softball field all day. They find dirt to eat. They put dirt on their face. I mean, when we bring Callie and Sawyer home, they are a mess, but they've had the time
yeah.
of their life.
Well, I got
Yeah.
a funny about, well, kind of funny. Well, kind of, well, maybe about softball for me. So I was at a tournament and all, it's in Buffalo. And I mean, it's an all day, all night tournament. I was playing third base. I was down and I'm like, I'm ready. Well, a line drive. Thought I was getting ready to catch it. It tips off. It hits me in the mouth.
Oh no.
It busts me in the mouth. Okay. Blood is going everywhere. I don't know where the ball's at. I tell you, it looks like I got a lip job done. Okay. And I'm like, oh my gosh, do I have any teeth left? Like, okay, yes, I am from Boone County. Like I know that. However, do I have any teeth left? So I gotta finish the play. Daggone, I gotta make the play. So I'm like, where's my teeth? Where's the ball? So, they're like, time, 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 time. So they look and I look and I'm going home. Well, after the day is, I go back to school and guess what my nickname was?
Oh Lord, what was it?
Bubba Joe. They called because well, I'm gonna back up. They well because it was so big right through here. Yeah, it was just so yeah. Well, because I had lip inductions. That's what they called me.
You had an arm if you played third base.
Well,
Have you seen
sometimes
that thing?
you know, check
Come
one,
on,
check
Candy,
two.
flex on us. That's right. Check one, check two.
Are these on? Yeah,
And
but
face weren't a thing really when we played softball. So
yeah.
now for the face masks.
Well, my arm was hit or miss. Some days it would be on, some days it would be off, and
Just like your
my arm
teeth.
was all over the
In,
place.
out.
Yeah.
Well,
So
Caitlin, you get to coach with your husband. So that is an experience that I think would be interesting. Tell me about that.
So, I mean, we butt heads sometimes, or I'm like, he likes to talk. He likes to talk. And I'm like, okay, we're running out of daylight. Let's go. We've got practice to do. But no, he is amazing with the kids. He is amazing. I mean, he's an amazing dad. And then to see him on the field with these other girls, I mean, his heart and soul is coaching. He loves it. But yes, we definitely butt heads. And then he'll just give me like the stare down. He'll have his sunglasses on and stare me down, but I just give it right back to him. But the girls really like the relationships that we have a different relationship with each girl. I mean, I think Kenny is stern with them and they respect him, but they also goof around with him. Same thing with me. I mean, he's just great on the field, but yeah, it at first when we started coaching rec, I'm like, I don't know if we could do this together, but we're making it work.
Yeah. I like what you said when you said that you like how you worded it, but basically like each girl individually.
Yeah.
You have a relationship with every single girl individually. And I think that's really important. And it's something that, you know, comes with time, it comes with experience. It also comes with, just building that relationship with each athlete.
Yeah.
Some girls you can tell immediately. So I'm going to also back up. When I was the director at Mountain Cap Child Development Center, we did lots and lots of trainings, right? And one of the trainings that I always found really interesting was just reflecting on different personality traits. So there are those connections that are so immediate. The second they walk in the gym, like, Candy and I are high energy, we're really bubbly, we're really energetic. And so when we get those high energy, really bubbly, energetic girls, it's very like instantaneous for us. And then neither of us are very reserved. So when we see a very shy, reserved athlete walk in, maybe that relationship is going to take a little more time. And I think that's true among the girls, the athletes as well. But I think having those individual relationships or those friendships, those connections between athletes and staff, as well as athletes to athletes, parents to parents, so on and so forth, like recognizing those personality differences, tailoring your connection and your relationship building to those personality differences,
Yeah.
is like super important. And also being patient, because every child uh, is going to open up or communicate differently. Every child is going to have different needs, and being able to like recognize those, respond to those. And then also, you have, I don't know how many girls you have on your team. How many
We have
softball
10.
players?
We have 10 on our team.
Okay, so you have 10, and then Candy, we have to tailor, like you have to tailor your practice to your team's needs, but then also you have to recognize like all those individual needs as well. And so some girls require extra firm, they require more structure, while some kids, they don't need all the structure, and they don't necessarily need discipline. They might need a lighter mood. And so finding that balance can be super
Yeah.
difficult,
Yes.
Yes. Yeah.
Yes.
and it takes time.
It
And
does.
you have, and you have on days and you have off days, and
Yeah.
some sickness, and it just,
Yeah.
you just
And
gotta
teams are
kind of.
ever changing, and teams' needs are ever changing. And so you're constantly, as a coach, having to adapt, build on those relationships. And also like, um, I think somebody mentioned, one of you mentioned trust earlier, and having that foundation of trust, having that foundation of respect among you and your athletes, and athletes to athletes, like um they have to understand that when we are having when we are disciplining athletes, okay, we had two stunts drop, now you're going to run laps, like this isn't personal. This is
No.
not me, mad at you.
Yeah.
This is a lesson that we're teaching right now, and so for the athletes like who are just walking in, like you can't on day one, our day one looks different than day 30 or day 60 or 6 months down the road. On day one, you have to build that trust. You have to build those relationships. You have to give it time before you can really start. You know what I mean? Does that make
Yeah.
sense?
Yeah.
Yeah.
And it's like it's a different level too, because I mean we coach rec, but we also coach travel, and travel is another level, and that's what we told the girls. Like every girl out here is wanting a different level of softball. So I mean, if you stand there and watch the strike go by you, you don't ground the ball like you're supposed to. You don't listen to what we're saying. You are going to run, and it's not that we're mad at you, but it's so it will click, and you will realize, okay, I'm not going to do that again. I'm not supposed to stand in there and watch the strike go by. I'm supposed to hit the
Right.
ball. And I mean, I'm sure you
Like it's a
guys see
level
it.
of accountability. You have to hold them
Yeah,
accountable to
yeah,
doing.
and I'm sure you guys see it the same way. Their Mountain State Cheer is another level, so you have to hold them at that level. And it's not that we're mad at them; we're trying to teach them, we're trying to coach them at that level.
Right. And we actually had that talk with our girls a week ago. I think it was last Thursday, wasn't it, Candy? When and it's not to knock other like youth cheer or
Yeah,
school cheerleading. That's just a different type of cheerleading.
yeah,
There are different standards, there are different expectations. But when you have parents privately paying for a service for outcomes, like the expectations have to change. That's
yeah,
just the reality. Like parents are paying too much money, they're dedicating too much time. The
yes,
community is spent, you know what I mean? Like you have too many things for but how do we evolve friendships? How do we make friendships?
yeah,
How do we make it fun? How do we make it engaging, like through the
mhm,
whole process? And so there is a challenge, and there's definitely a balance that I think we'll always be chasing,
yeah.
to get better. Um, yeah. Candy, you have anything to add?
I think you covered. I mean, all of it because it's a hard balance, but it will come. But I mean, you covered everything.
Yeah. And also you have to build those relationships with the parents too, making sure that they understand why we're pushing or what we're pushing for. And I think that as long as you're communicating, and that you have those expectations set across the board, although, little Susie might need to reach hers or might need it communicated a different way than little Sally, like the expectation is set across the board. Everyone's expected to perform at the
Yeah.
certain standard that you set,
Yeah.
as long as you have that and as long as you're building trust. And, this is something that I also talk to our athletes about daily. Like if a stunt falls, um, or let's say, I hate talking about flyers falling. I feel like I'm putting a bad omen out there, but it happens, right? Flyers fall, bases are learning to catch, like especially at Mountain State when um it's hard to start a program from square one because we saw it last year starting one team with 13 new girls who had never done any type of cheerleading or maybe only youth cheerleading at that point in their life. Like it was hard to get everybody on the same page. It was really, really difficult. So not only are you teaching a flyer how to fly, but you're also teaching every single base under her how to base. And whereas some other teams they might only have 2 turnovers or 3 turnovers among the year or, at the beginning of their season. And so they only have to teach a couple girls how to do things. Well, so that was really difficult. But I try to tell the girls, like, when a flyer falls out of the air, what does that do to our level of trust? For you all and for her? Like, how does that affect our level of trust? How many more reps are we going to have to do to build that trust back up? We just
Yeah.
took how many steps backwards, And
Yeah.
so that's something that we talk a lot about. And or, if a base is not where they're supposed to be in the stunt, grabbing what they're supposed to be grabbing or doing what they're supposed to be doing or performing at the level we expect, how does that affect the teamwork? How does that affect the friendships?
Yeah.
Kind of like what you said, when someone's not grounding a ball the way you want, other teammates are watching. It really does affect the rest of the team.
Yeah. Yep.
So how do you guys, do you guys talk about that openly? Because I think open communication is like,
Yeah. We were upfront with them at tryouts too. We were upfront with the parents. We had a meeting with the parents and the kids. Like, this is not rec. This is travel. Your parents are invested. You're invested. The time here is important, and it's going to be taken serious. And then it's the same thing with on the field. The girls on the field. If they're playing a spot that you want, you cheer them on. You're going to have good communication with one another. You're going to be a good sport. Somebody makes a home run, you're their biggest fan. I mean, we were just upfront that we're going to have positive attitude. We're going to try 110% every time, every play, practice, game, 110%, and then you'll succeed in that.
um, yeah, I think so too. And I think that were you gonna say something, Candy? No. Okay. Well, I think that, when you build trust with, like I said, among all the layers of of the different aspects of friendship in a program,
Yeah.
there are things that, especially when you're with kids, that are unnatural and then natural. And just when you're a coach or a parent, to communicate and to really talk your kids through those situations and push them to be better, to expect better of themselves. But I will say that having worked in lots of different situations, schools or the daycare or youth cheer or volunteering at other places, like there's a big difference in the mindset. And parents, it comes from home, like you're setting that expectation. If we're paying for this, like we're going to step it up.
Yeah.
But there's a big difference between, I don't know if you've ever coached, like you've coached rec versus travel, so you can see
Yeah.
the difference. Um and parents are more invested, so they're more willing to step up and help, which is really, really
Nice.
helpful. They want to be involved,
Yeah.
they are planning the extracurricular, the team bonding activities. They want to do that. And so,
Yeah.
yeah. Well, let's ask our viewers, because we had 7 when I looked last, if they have any questions for us. We'll open the chat box up, see if they have any questions. for us or anything that they want to share on the topic. I think we're down to 4 viewers right now, if this is accurate. I bet Kenny is one, and we know he has a lot to say. So I do expect a comment from Kenny.
He was on, but he
He
took
was.
Sawyer to the store because Sawyer was getting
Oh.
a little bit loud.
Oh, okay. I know Dorissa's on there. She's already been talking. She called me out for my story and said that I looked in the peephole. That's not what happened. So the hotel story she was laughing at. She was laughing at. Um, yeah, so let's give the chat box a couple minutes.
Okay.
Candy, do you have anything else you want to share?
Well, I will have to say that building friendships, it did start with youth, with
Yeah.
cheer.
It did. And I
So,
think that that's a big important role that youth
yeah,
sports really do play. It's
Oh yeah.
to like,
yeah,
I don't know, maybe initiate passion, to build those friendships. Like I
yeah,
said, you and I would have never happened had it not been for
right.
youth cheer. So,
Yeah.
And honestly, if it, regardless where you start, you just need to start.
right,
And once you get started, then you can build those relationships. But it takes that initial starting point.
right.
So it doesn't matter, but you just need to within any program, basketball, anything. It's important to get any kid involved. You need to get the kid invested in something. They need to feel that unity with friendships, even if they may not be close to a certain friend, they're a part of a team.
Yeah.
And that is a big I think that speaks volumes because
Yeah,
then that friendship is there
right.
regardless if they're best friends with an individual, just one person, because they're friends with everybody.
And I don't know if you have this rule, but like my rule is you're going to do something. I don't care what it is. It doesn't have to be cheerleading forever. And in fact, I didn't want it to be cheerleading for a long time. We did swim, we did soccer, we did dance. So I really wanted Adelaide to do, like, the rule was just you have to do something. I don't care
Yeah.
what it is, only because I really want to push that social aspect, setting goals, achieving goals, showing up for yourself, for your teammates, working for others, not just yourself, all the things. But a big part of it for me is the social aspect and making friendships. I don't know about you guys, but as a parent, that's my rule. Like, you have to do something.
Oh yeah, for sure. I mean, we're Kenny and I, we still have lifelong, I mean, friends from when we were kids and played. I mean, every birthday party, we have a party once a year for all of our friends to get together. I mean, we've got 20, 30 plus friends that we went to school with and grew up with and played sports with that we still keep in touch, and our kids play, and our kids, I mean, they don't get to play together in like the same league or the same rec team, but we're close. We kept those bonds for years.
Yeah.
So
20 or 30.
I'm gonna be 30.
Kaylin, was that your entire class? Like, you went to Webster County?
Yeah.
That's like the whole school, right? How many were in
Some of
your
them in
graduating
college.
class?
I think we had 110.
Okay, that's more than I thought. That's
I,
pretty impressive.
I was number one.
Yeah.
No,
Woo!
that's right. Good job. You go,
Yeah.
girl.
No, we definitely have a small town, one red light.
I know, but Candy and I don't know if you watched our last episode, but we talked about um, how how that can be just such a blessing, growing up
Yeah.
in a small town, knowing everybody, having the support and having those friendships.
Yeah.
So, okay, it looks like our number one fan, she even has a crown by her name, is the one and only, no other than Jerissa Shaw. So, Jerissa says, I think discussing how friendships impact tough practices. They definitely do. She says they can lean on each other in difficulty, they have accountability to one another. I think it's also amazing to watch the friendships grow between the kids with such completely different personalities. You really get to see some of the shy athletes open up and shine after they get comfortable with their teammates. And because you said that, I won't name drop, but Darissa did share in one of our group chats a really cute story last night when she got home from practice. And she said, just wanted to say that my daughter really struggled a lot with All Stars. She is kind of shy and backwards and acts up when she feels uncomfortable, but I have seen a big change in her because of all of your kids. She is happy and excited to go to practice now because of all of her friends. Special shout out to another child. She has been a little cheerleader. The other day during tumbling, she ran over and cheered her on and then yelled out to me, "Your daughter is so close to her back walkover. She is going to get it soon."
Aw.
And, just hearing those stories about how friendship really does, how it's real, how it impacts the girls is really special.
Yeah.
And it definitely does help with tough practices. Last night I mentioned that we had a tough practice with wildflowers, and I told the girls, I don't know what it takes, but you guys need to go get a water break. I don't care who becomes the leader today and gives the pep talk, but somebody needs to take charge over there and get a pep in everyone's step before you come back to the floor. And they
Yeah.
did. They came back to the floor. They were clapping. They were cheering each other on. We had girls
Yeah.
in the middle of the routine yelling like, "Come on, girls, one more time. Let's do this. Let's go." And I think that, yeah, if you don't have a connection between you and your teammates, then like it takes a lot of your why away.
Yeah, for sure.
Um, Especially with that accountability piece. Like you know, how can you be accountable to people if you don't really care about how they feel or want to, you know, support one another? Or
Yeah, just like I mean, on our last tournament, we ran out of pitchers. I mean, we were on the field for 12 hours on last Saturday, and everybody just built each other up. I mean, everybody was yelling for each pitcher that got up there, like, "You can do it, believe in yourself." I mean, there was girls out in the outfield yelling like, "You got this, Reagan. You can do it, Sophia." I mean, it was great to hear. And then, I mean, and then, like you said, difficult times. We had a girl that um, got out on a slide at home, and she got really down on herself, but the dugout pulled her back up, told her, "You can't get down on yourself. You're a leader. You can do this. You did exactly what the coach asked you to do." So there's situations that they can give up, but they don't because they lean on each other, and it's very important.
I know, and I just am so impressed with Bailey and her team. World Series. And they
that
like made it. They made it remind
they
me. I don't
they
want to
placed second, and they
second.
only lost to a national team. I mean, the other teams up there that were established, like in Ohio or West Virginia, like we mercy ruled those teams. But the national team, they just pick from whatever, like they don't even know each other. This is the sad part. So this national team, when they won the championship, we turned around, they got their trophy, they left. They don't know each other. The girls don't know each
Oh,
other. They're selected and they're given a coach, a personal coach, and then they're put on that field, and they don't know each other from day one. And so our girls are crying, you're telling each other bye, you're taking pictures. So that's what we tried to get them to understand. Like, you guys played every team up here and you mercy ruled them. And then this team comes in, there's no relationships built, there's no friendships built. They're just put on the field, hope to take the trophy home, and then that's it. And so it was important for our girls to see, like, they did a great job. They did an amazing job.
they did an amazing job. It was really fun to watch from afar.
Yeah.
I thought that they got runners up, but I just didn't want to speak
Yeah.
incorrectly. But it was fun to watch. We were cheering them on from back here. And so they are out of where exactly?
They're out of Parkersburg.
Okay.
Jason Graham out of Parkersburg Premier. They have all the levels of coaching. They do workouts and everything throughout the winter. Just an amazing organization, and we hate not being there. If we live closer, I mean, we would still be with them.
Yeah.
Amazing group of family, and they have said over and over, you've got to have family and parents that are built in. I mean, we heard them say that from day one. Like, we've got such a great group of parents because they're built in, and we're going to have a great season. And so, as well as the kids, the athletes, like, you got to have parents that are ready for the next level as well and prepared for that next level. And we hope to get to the World Series with the Bandits in 2026.
That will be amazing. We'll be cheering for him. So, are you only allowed to accept 10? We've got a couple minutes, but I just want to talk about, if a softball athlete is wanting to take that next step, where would they go? How do they join? Are there tryouts? All of that good stuff.
We had our tryouts. We have 10. We are open to taking 12. We'd rather not have more than 12, but We'd like to have 12. That way, if someone's on vacation or has to miss a tournament, we have some as a backup. Uh, we will have private tryouts if somebody reaches out. We are trying to save for a stud pitcher. We're building some pitchers throughout the fall, winter months. We're building our pitchers. So if we had a pitcher that was interested, we definitely would do a private tryout. But the team that we have are established. We probably won't have any more open tryouts in the spring. We're going to do some workouts throughout the winter months, some batting practices, and then hit it hard in the spring with the team that we tried out in August with.
Awesome. And so do they just reach out to you and Kenny personally, or is there a Facebook group? How do they go about doing that?
They can reach out to Kenny or I. And then we also have a Facebook page, CWV Elite Bandits. And we'll be posting our pictures and videos and our tournaments. And we also have Game Changer. If anybody wants to tune in and has Game Changer, we'll be playing this Saturday. Our first game's at 10:20.
I have Game Changer.
Woo-woo! Watch us on Game Changer.
Well, show me how to do that. And I'm like an old granny, so
you just have to search our team name.
Okay.
Okay.
Perfect.
CWV Elite Bandit.
Yes.
And it's Kaylin and Kenny, Kenney, or just Y?
Kenny.
Okay, Hall. So I'm going to go ahead and put that in the chat box. That way anyone who is looking or watching this video can take a second. Desiree does have one thing to add. She says that she thinks that friendships impact practices a lot. When you are on the team, you are like family, and you have to work as a team to make it to the top. And that is exactly right.
Yes.
We really do. We call each other family. It is like a family. I mean, you know, they lift each other up, they cry together, they feel each other. When someone's down, you've got two around, you actually have to, hey Des, yeah. You have to you have to separate the girls sometimes, because you're like, sometimes our friends just need some space. Like, overwhelming them with love and support is really kind, but also it can be overwhelming. And I see that a lot, especially on my younger teens. Like, they just want to hug and love all day, every day, which is great. But
outside of the softball, I mean, you guys have been amazing with Callie. I tell you all the time, you guys got to be proud. Mountain State Cheer is the place to go. I recommend everybody. I wish Bailey still went. I tried. Yeah. She's all about softball. And that's good. She was good.
It's all about finding their thing. And that's why I think it's important to just keep them involved in something, because like I said, I tried Adelaide and lots before cheer, and you tried cheer before softball, because sometimes you do have your dual sport athletes, and sometimes you have those more focused one sport athletes, and that's fine. As long as she's happy, like, we're supporting her too. So
thank you.
And we love Callie. So thank you for bringing her to us, and you're always sharing our stuff. We really appreciate you. So I think that that's it for today. It's 12:47, so I want to be respectful of everyone's time. I want to say that we really appreciate you, Kaylin, hopping on, sharing your stories, sharing your input from coach's perspective to parent perspective and your athlete perspective. You're an ex-athlete, so thank you very much. We love having you at MSCA. For those of you who are watching, if you're a part of MSCA or any other youth sports program, just be thinking about friendships. The ones that you have built, the ones that you're helping your kids build, and the impact that you are making on not only your program, your child's life, but the community as a whole. If you'd like to go ahead and share your favorite memory in the comments, we would love to see those, and we might highlight some of those in our next episode. Don't forget to subscribe to our YouTube channel and tune in every Wednesday at 11:45 for more Lunch with MSCA. Next week, we will be moving on to I for Integrity. So those of you who are new to Mountain State, our core values are centered around being fired up, FIREDUP, fired. Friendships was today. Next week is integrity. Then we'll follow up by respect, excellence, determination, unity, and positivity. So we have an 8-week segment here. Join us every Wednesday at 11:45. Thank you, Coach Candy. Thank you, Kaylin, and we'll see everyone.